Stand by. The vacuum tubes are warming up. This is a special live broadcast right here on Georgia Radio.
Welcome to Neighbor. I'm Matt Jolly. It's Wednesday, the 17th of May, one day before the shred guy shows up. We have so much stuff to shred after all these years on the road. I'm telling you what, where would I be without this guy? I'd be right in front of the paper shredder for about 5.5 hours. Daniel Stine joins me now. He's a Georgia filmmaker. Daniel, I hate shredding. I mean, there's something cathartic about like the first 30 seconds of it, but then after that, it's just misery. It's just absolute misery sitting there for hours on end. The reason I bring this up is because you're a filmmaker, but more importantly, you're doing this for nonprofits. And when you work in the nonprofit sector, I've been there, you do everything. You take the trash out, you make the movies, you shred the stuff. I mean, you're doing everything. So welcome to the show, and I can appreciate a man who works with his family and makes it happen no matter what.
Well, I appreciate that very much, and it's such a pleasure being on your show, so thank you so much for having me this morning.
Well, let's not talk about paper shredding. Let's talk about Rising Act Films, which is your nonprofit. You're the executive director, and you make movies for compelling organizations that have just unbelievable stories. One of them that comes to mind is one that you're working on right now, which is attempting to bring home World War II veterans. Obviously, they're deceased. They're in the Pacific on some faraway island, and this is a difficult process, and you're making a movie about this. A film about this to help raise awareness for what an organization by the name of History Flight does. And this is just one of a number of entities and clients that you make films for. Let's dive into this.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. So, yeah, at Rising Act, we sort of mix film and philanthropy. And, you know, it's our mission to use film to promote universal awareness and to celebrate the impact of these nonprofits worldwide. And yes, one of those organizations that we're working with right now is History Flight. And it's amazing what these guys are doing, guys and girls. They're civilians from different places around the world, and they're coming together and they're bringing home these Marines who have been said that they were not recoverable, and they've been out there for years, just their remains, and they come together and they do these elaborate archaeological digs, and they're bringing them home for repatriation and full military honors, and it's just insane what they're doing. It's really beautiful work, and it's hard work. And we, at Rising Act, we make films to celebrate the people doing this kind of work, to really shine a light on what they're doing, who they are, why they're doing it. So organizations like them, they can get more awareness, more funding, maybe more volunteers. So it's just an honor to be working with these groups and History Flight. Yeah, the one that we've got coming up is just has been close to our hearts for a very long time.
A lot of these folks who start out and run these charities, these not-for-profit corporations, they're brilliant people. They're passionate about their work, but oftentimes if you stop them in the elevator and you say, so what does this do? You'll get a blank stare and you'll hear, well, we'd really do a lot. And it's sort of this discombobulated elevator speech that falls out. Mm-hmm. You have a statistic on your website that's in this video that you made about your company, Rising Act Films, and it spoke volumes to me when I watched it. Tell me the statistic about how fast our brains can process a picture compared to text.
Oh, a lot faster. I don't remember the exact number, but it's insane what a movie can do versus, a slideshow or somebody standing up at a podium telling you exactly what they do. But that elevator pitch is very difficult for nonprofits. But we worked with an organization recently who someone on the board or a friend of someone on their board came to us with a different film project, and they said, my best friend works for this amazing organization, and I've known her for years. And I knew vaguely what she did. I kind of knew what she did, but it wasn't until I saw this film that you made about their organization that I finally understood what they do. And that was just that's the exact reason why we make these movies, because film has the power to inspire people in a way that nothing else does, especially good storytelling, and to serve as a call to action. And we just, there's so much power in doing that. So, yeah, no, that's a great statistic. I don't remember the number. I just know it was a lot faster.
I've got to go look it up. Of course, I didn't mean to put you on the spot about that. But so I have a friend who makes washers, and there's not a whole lot of, great. You make washers, right? Silicone washers. And I said, why did you do this? And he goes, well, it's from an engineering, background, and you've got to make these silicone washers. And his company comes to mind here because the number one reason they made these silicone washers was to put in remote water wells that feed villages in the farthest reaches of the world, whether it's Africa or, the South Pacific. These washers are what drive these wells, these hand-driven wells that make them more efficient and where they can hold pressure and all this kind of stuff that his company does. But if you talk to the guy, they make washers. And really what they're doing is they're providing water to people who just otherwise might not have clean drinking water. Talk to us about your background, because you just don't get into this if you're not good, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, well, I've been making films since 2008, I guess. And, it started off a stepping stone approach. I made some short films, and those did really well. They won lots of awards, had great attention. And then I was able to, make a feature film finally, and it kind of kept climbing from there. But I always felt that I've always been impressed by humanitarian and environmental causes and the people who serve them, and making films that don't just get released on and disappear onto Amazon Prime, but films that we can turn over for these nonprofits to use for years and years to come in order to keep doing their amazing work. And that's kind of how I came about this. I remember seeing the film Hotel Rwanda. Did you ever see that film?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching that in theaters. And then at the end, they had a bit of a call to action at the end of the movie. And I remember hearing statistics that donations started flooding in from the U.S. and all around the world to the cause happening in Rwanda. And a lot of people in the U.S. and other places didn't even know what was going on over there. And this film, put in story format with incredible acting, like from Don Cheadle, and cinematography and music, it made people go, wow, what is happening? It sort of let us step behind the curtain a little bit and really see what was happening in a way, and that really pulled on the heartstrings there, and it inspired action. That always stuck with me, and that's kind of what we try to do with our films or our commercials. And we do documentaries, we do narratives, we do PSAs, but we always have that storytelling approach. We work with filmmakers, not videographers. We try to bring out the strongest story possible, and so that's kind of how I came about it. We wanted to create things, nonprofit media that felt like something that you would watch in your living room on any streaming platform, the same level of quality. And we do that because these nonprofits, they deserve it.
And the best part about this is a consortium. So you never know who you're going to get. So if Ridley Scott wanted to come and volunteer with you guys or whomever, you're going to welcome them into the fold.
Absolutely. Yes, he's high up on our list to get him. So.
Right. Yeah, because Scorsese exactly right. is now making the water well videos. But I love it.
That's right. I had a few missed calls from Spielberg. I got to call him back after this one. So.
But is there anything more important than using your talent to help humanity? I mean, that's got to feel good every day when you wake up.
It does, and it really does. And we get testimonials even years after we make some of these films sometimes that just fuel why we do this. We've heard that a film has saved. One organization told us the film that we made had literally saved lives, which, when I heard that, I just started crying when I heard that, and we had another organization said that just they had no idea that they could look so cool after they saw the film, because I think nonprofit media, when you hear that, you have a certain image of your head of just the talking heads and the informational side thing, but we really try to elevate all of that. And we had another organization say that they had no idea how much they needed a film like this until they saw it, and they're using it now to raise quite a bit of money for their organization. And so, yes, it feels incredible, and the people that we get to meet through this work is amazing. It's opened my heart and mind in so many ways, and sometimes we have donors bring to us organizations who I didn't know were out there, or I wasn't aware of their cause. And they say, hey, you know what, I'm on the board of this organization, or I support this organization. They could really use a film like what you all do. And they'll bring that to us. And then through that, we get to just, grow together. And we create this, I don't know how to put it. It's kind of the best job in the world,
Well, I think it's certainly right up there. Rising Act Films, again, is the name of your group. It's risingactfilms.org. You can log on there and see a wonderful presentation that features Daniel in there and your wife, who also works with you.
That's right.
In this endeavor, which is great, a family business. The other thing I want to point out is you're in Georgia strategically. I mean, Georgia has become a hub for filmmaking and for the movies and so much more when it comes to entertainment. But you're here strategically. I found out about you from our Writers Guild, our first ever writers conference. You were the sponsor of, I believe, the keynote address, which was wonderful, and it opened a door for us to talk today. But let's focus on what you need. You're a 501c3 as well, which means you're a registered charity here in the state. If folks want to help you out, you take that money and then you turn it around to help film projects.
That's exactly right. Yeah, we're a charitable organization ourselves, so donations are the essential element to our existence. And our donors, they enable us to have maximum operational flexibility to meet the needs of all of these nonprofits that we work with. And so we go above and beyond to ensure that they have a product that's powerful, that's versatile, that's enduring. And we just do things that for these nonprofits that other production companies can't, and that's because of our donor support. We use the best filmmakers that are out there, that we can that are in Atlanta. A lot of them are here in Atlanta, and we use the best equipment, and we just make these things at the other thing for people who donate, they donate what they can for a specific cause or organization. They may be they're helping us create, I guess, a unique and a powerful story on behalf of organizations that they love. And by making a film, by giving that gift is multiplying. It's inspiring potentially thousands of other donors like themselves. So really, these donations are to create films are really gifts that they just keep on giving.
That's a wonderful way to put it, as an investment, for future benefit. I mean, you give now and it's going to continue to give. One thing I wanted to point out, and you just touched on it, is maybe there's an organization that is near and dear to your own heart, and you want to make a donation to Daniel and Rising Act Films that would perhaps fund a film for that organization. I'm sure you're open to that as well.
Absolutely. The one that we're doing here this year that we're still hoping donations come in for is this one for History Flight that we're filming out there in the Pacific. And we're hoping that, because these people out there that doing this work, they're not going to stop doing this hard work until all of these Marines come home. And they're just not going to stop. But they work a lot of times in obscurity. And a film like this is going to not just showcase what they're doing to their existing audience, but the style of this film is going to bring new audiences to their cause, is going to let them know they're out there. And so that's what we're hoping for now. That's probably the one that's most current that we've got going on next. So, our project for History Flight is, we would love some support to help get that film across the finish line. Absolutely.
I think it's a wonderful group and it's a wonderful organization. And you talked a little bit about the work. I know you went out there to do this, to make this film. You got to see sort of behind the scenes and what they're really doing. And this is not a summer vacation on a South Pacific island. I mean, it's hot. It's miserable in a lot of cases. And these folks are out there just doing this with a joyful heart. And
yes, that's exactly right. We got out there to sort of be a part of the excavation and watch what they're doing. But it's a hard place to work. It's an incredibly hard place to work, and they're doing it, and they love doing it, and they go time and time again. They go back there several times throughout the year. They have rotations, but we already appreciated and loved what they were doing, but coming back from that little island in the Pacific, wow, it just blew our minds, and we appreciate it all the more. And the world just needs to know about what they're doing, and we want to be a part, and our donors want to be a part of helping them bring the rest of these bring them home, because it's time to bring them home.
Well, amen to that. Well, you're doing great work, Daniel, and I appreciate you coming on this morning. Rising Act Films is the name of his foundation there. An organization, risingactfilms.org. We'll quick link it in the show story for the podcast that'll be posted up here right after the live broadcast. But Daniel, thanks for coming on, and I hope you'll come back.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, Matt. It's been a pleasure. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day here.
Thank you again, Daniel. We'll talk soon. Daniel Stine, everyone, from risingactfilms.org. We'll be right back here with Brother Wade in just a few more moments.
Hi, this is Wade Peebles from Georgia Folk and Farm Life Radio. I'm here to tell you about Meeks Brothers Cattle Company. And you don't have to worry about supply chain issues or where your beef comes from. Do what I do and call Meeks Brothers Cattle Company today. You can get a whole, half, a quarter, any amount of beef you want. Good quality beef, vacuum packed, lasts up to 3 years in your freezer. It's grass-fed, grain-finished, made to order. Visit Meeks Brothers Cattle Company on Facebook today and tell them Brother Wade sent you. And that's Meeks Brothers Cattle Company. Thank you.
I know you can hear me, and so can your customers. Lots of people don't take kids seriously, but listen up. Advertising on Georgia Radio is seriously easy and affordable. Visit georgiaradio.com/advertise, or better yet, call the station. So let's talk. Your customers are listening, and so is my mom. Hi, Mom.
And welcome back here to Neighbor. Matt Jolly hanging out here with you. Brother Wade Peebles hanging out on the phone line. Are you somewhere safe, Brother Wade?
Yeah, well, I'm on the unsafe places. That's the only place I go.
Pulled over on the side of the road. That's right.
Never in a dangerous place for me.
Driving that log truck today. Hey, I'm glad you're here. Wanted to have you on for an update because everybody's worried about you, and you've been off the air because your voice has been sore on Tuesday nights. It's sort of like a kid waking up for school and
that's right.
Playing all day on the weekend, but Tuesday
right.
nights it gets sore again. But no, you really have been in a lot of pain, and we're praying for your recovery. But you sound good today. Wanted to have you on.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it comes and goes. Some days are good, some days are worse, and some days are fine. So, but
you just never know.
I'm not going to let it get the best of me.
Well, I think that's great. Let's talk about what's going on Georgia Folk and Farm Life. People have been talking a lot here lately about things that they're interested in. That's no surprise, but also they've been getting a little snippy, and you had to jump in there the other day and tell folks to be nice, which I thought was kind of funny because they were getting snippy about things that other people wouldn't get snippy about.
Yeah, you have to. You would think that grown people you wouldn't have to chastise them like that. But they would, but you do.
Getting in heated debates over sweet tea and unsweet, cornbread.
It's always about things that you would think people wouldn't fight over, but people say don't talk politics, religion, but don't if you put sugar in your grits, don't tell people that in Georgia because they will fuss with you about that. So there are certain things that religion, politics, fine, but grits, that kind of thing, you could get in trouble.
Stand back, prepare for it. Yeah, well, I understand that.
And I like good gummy rice, and a lot of people don't, and they'll get fractious about it if Grandpa would say fractious.
Hey, I saw some good news the other day, and I wanted to bring this up. Our friend Chris Adams, his dog, unexpectedly. Ada unexpectedly died the other day. And of course, for those of you who don't know Chris, Chris was born 20-something years ago, 30 years ago, but it was a mistake. So he's actually he's actually about 250 years old. And anyhow, Chris lives this way and lives this way very effectively, promoting and keeping alive the ways of the past. Literally in all that he does, and he has this.
Yeah, and his dog was an example of that.
Yeah,
her and she was beautiful, and she died unexpectedly. But a friend gave him a black and tan cur now, and I hope that dog's doing well. But I just hated that so bad to learn that his dog had passed away because.
Oh yeah,
Dog,
it really was. It was a great cur, and the good news is, like you said, there's a new one that showed up, and that's
Which
just
I want
perfect.
to say this, Matt. A lot of people think, and I used to when I was young, thought that a cur or a Feist was a mixed breed or almost a slur, like a Biscuit Eater or a Heinz 57, on your dog. That I didn't know that Feist and curs were actual breeds of dog, but they are curs. Like my ladybug, she's a mountain cur. There's several kinds of curs, and the same with Feist. They're little dogs that look like a Jack Russell, something like that. They're good squirrel dogs. But a lot of people are misinformed about the fact that they think that a cur or a Feist is a mixed breed, but they're not. They're real dogs.
Maybe not with the AKC, but they're a real dog.
Yeah, they really are with AKC.
Are they really?
Yeah, yes.
Learn something new every day. There you go.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Speaking of learning something new, I called you this weekend. I was all excited because we were down at Pebble Hill Plantation down there in Thomasville, Georgia. They had a big Mother's Day deal and went down there and had a great time and learned a lot. And I thought, man, I cannot wait to call Wade and see what he knows about the family that used to own the place. And we toured the house, and they're very forthcoming. They share a lot with you about the family and everything. But, there's always a backstory. And I just knew Wade was going to know. So I called you and I left a message, called you back.
And it was a great disappointment, I understand.
It was a great disappointment. I said, Wade, what do you know about this?
I heard about that conversation.
Yeah.
It was a great disappointment. Yes.
I said, Wade, what do you know? And you go, oh, yes, Miss Pansy. Don't know anything about her.
That's right. Nothing about it.
I couldn't tell you anything about it. Where was that place again, Matt? Oh, yeah.
But I did.
Yeah.
I kind of fluffed it up and gave you some background or general information, make it sound like, maybe I.
Right.
But I didn't. No,
I don't know
about it.
I have
no
thing about
idea.
that person.
I don't know about it.
Well, it was a fun place.
No babies. Nothing about birthing no babies.
Yeah, well, it was a fun thing to go down there and see all that. And the cool thing is it's still, the land is intact. And I just think that's really great. I mean, it's a 3,000 acre hunting preserve. And of course, that's the cool thing about Thomasville.
I did tell you that, Thomasville, I think, was settled it was after the Civil War by Confederate and Union officers and they, from both armies. They kind of settled that place together as a joint effort. And there are many, there's a lot of big old pines, from old growth pines that have never been cut, a lot of wiregrass and old pine country, and it's very good quail hunting territory. And places are now, and have for years, raised quail, and then, people could go on quail hunts. If you want to go on a quail hunt, there are many places around the Thomasville, plantations around the Thomasville area where you could not only go quail hunting, but in style, and horses and wagons, and the accommodations are old style. It's fun.
Well, and one thing that impressed me about this place and the other places around there, the other big properties that were around there, is they were doing prescribed burning down there.
Oh, yeah, they manage those parks down there well, like I say, for the boat hunting, quail hunting.
And that's something that we need to do on our place. Is we really need a controlled burn. We need to be doing that. And you don't see that a whole lot anymore because it's expensive to do, and you've got to know what you're doing.
And commitment.
And
you
commitment.
To learn. It takes knowledge and commitment. And there's a lot of people that don't have knowledge or commitment.
Well, I got very little of both.
I fall into that category. Yeah.
Well, I mean, part of you just thinks, well, if I just let the land do its thing, it's going to be fine, right?
It will show me how to go. I'll follow my land. Now, it'll just grow up and become what we call rank.
Yeah.
Overgrown with weeds.
Won't be able to drive a log truck through it.
Nope, you won't be able to drive a log through it.
Well, it's good stuff, Brother Wade. And I'm sorry that you don't know. I do want you to rest assured.
I do want. I want to say one thing. I gave some meat for the Calicut steaks to Michael Ogden, our pastor there at New Beginnings. Wendell Brown there called me this week and said, Pastor Mike wants to know how to get some more of those steaks. That's the best steaks he ever ate in his life. And so I messaged Steve Meeks and asked him, could people just buy steaks? And he said, yes. As a matter of fact, that's a new thing they're doing there. They've got steaks. You can just buy steaks now. And because they're doing selling a lot of ground beef, and that left them with steaks available. And so if anybody wants the greatest steak in the world, get with Meeks Brothers.
Yeah, call them up. And they do have a handy dandy website.
Yeah, and you don't have to buy you can buy a whole cow, half a cow, quarter, you can buy boxes of beef. But now you can just order steaks.
Yeah, now you got to go get it.
The best you've ever eat. Yeah.
You got to go down there and pick it up. And
yeah, they're not going to spoon feed you. You're going to have to go get it and cook it.
Yeah.
Now imagine that. Yeah.
You can't nuke it. Well, what I was going to tell you is that I rest assured that I bought the book on Pebble Hill Plantation, and I'll be reading up on it.
Read it.
So I will be able to answer my own questions, because for once in my life, you've not known something about something in the state of Georgia.
Maybe I can read about it, and then later we can have a pop quiz.
You can tell me about it. That'll be great.
I can have a pop quiz, and we'll see who,
There you go.
makes
All right.
100. Who makes 100? Me or Matt?
There you go. That'll be fun. We'll do it live on the air one night.
That'd be good. We'll have a pop quiz.
We'll have the director there from Pebble Hill call up and quiz us on it.
I'll learn my part. Don't you worry about me.
All right.
Jolly.
Have fun with Shorty and Eat 'em up out there in the woods today.
I got them all covered. Yeah,
All right.
Scattered. All right.
Take care, Brother Wade.
Right.
Wade Peebles,
Bye,
everybody, from Georgia Folk and Farm Life. You can find him right there on Georgia Folk and Farm Life on Facebook, and, of course, all over the place. 86,000 followers in that group, and a lot of fun. So head on over to Georgia Folk and Farm Life. You'll be glad you did. My thanks to Daniel Stine for coming on this morning and talking about his group, risingactfilms.org. You can make a donation. You can learn more about them, all right there at risingactfilms.org. We'll talk to you next week. So long for now, everybody.
Georgia Radio. Good company and great country.